Hey you folks, STV here, and together with WWE, we're continuing our journey across Europe. Today we have a fresh episode of Raw, and we're all going to watch the review together right now. Other than asking you to like this video, I won't ask for anything else, though I'm sure you've already done that too. Thank you for that. Let's get started. The show of course opens with fireworks, as has become the tradition again. And first up in the ring is Gunther, who definitely has some explaining to do since last week his actions were pretty dirty. He starts off by smirking at everyone booing him, and by the way, the fans were chanting, "You gave up." He asks everyone to calm down and suggests it's better to talk about AJ Styles. He was so blinded by his desire to make him submit that he completely forgot he was facing a legend among legends in the ring, someone who had made stars like Goldberg and John Cena tap out. Gunther doesn't want to dwell on this any longer because it's time to move forward. He wants to win back the company's main title, so he officially announces that he will take part in the Royal Rumble. He starts talking about how much time he spent in one of the previous Rumbles, but at that moment AJ Styles' music interrupts him and AJ proudly heads to the ring. And as soon as the phenomenal one appeared, the fans erupted, and because of the chants, he couldn't even start speaking. AJ Styles admits that Gunther beat him, but immediately challenges him to a match at the Royal Rumble. The General repeats that he has already declared himself a participant in the Royal Rumble and he doesn't intend to pull double duty. Styles points out that it sounds like Gunther is just scared. He needs to admit that Styles wasn't actually defeated last week, fair and square, and in fact you can't deny that Gunther tapped out like a little bitch. If you're really afraid, just say so, and then they can go their separate ways. Gunther gets angry and says that last week he proved he's smarter and better than Styles, so there's no point in having another match. So the answer remains the same, no. Nevertheless, he decided not to leave, but to offer something instead. He tried to dodge the issue, but Styles just demands that a place for the match be set. So here are the conditions. If AJ wants a match at the Royal Rumble, then he'll have to put his career on the line. You don't have to answer right away, because obviously you need to think about it. You can give your answer by the end of the night, if you're not afraid. In the end, a satisfied Gunther leaves the ring and Styles remains in the ring, deep in thought. I've said before that all of this is strange, because AJ was supposed to have a full year for his run, but this is how they've decided to do it. I'm leaning toward the idea that he actually debuted 10 years ago, and his current contract is coming to an end. It'll be sad if his story ends at the Rumble, but at least I'll be in the arena, where all of this will happen. In any case, we'll see how it goes. Backstage, Maxine is getting ready for her match, and Natalya comes up to her to wish her luck. I still didn't get it. Did she have some sneaky thoughts in her head or not? Right away, the first match of the show. And here, the Intercontinental Women's Championship is on the line, with Becky Lynch defending her title against Maxine. Yes, again, we've already seen a lot of matches between them, and I liked each one in its own way. Yeah, I never trashed them because everything was really well done, well built. They really put in effort today as well, but honestly, I didn't really believe in a new champion. Although, on the other hand, I don't understand why Lynch even needs the title, but that's another question. Nevertheless, the match didn't last long because we shouldn't forget that Natalya was in Maxine's corner. And when she was about to win, she put Lynch's foot on the ropes. The challenger was surprised by this move, got distracted, and took Lynch's finisher, which allowed her to retain the championship. Right after that, Natalya launched an attack and completely beat up her former friend. While you're watching this in the highlight, I want to express my outrage. Okay, you're making Maxine a superface, which I'm fine with, and Becky Lynch is whatever, but yet another heel turn for the utterly useless on-screen Natalya is just too much. I'm sure they won't be able to deliver anything good, and no matter what motivation Natasha gives for her actions, I don't think it's going to sound convincing. She also yelled that Maxine would never make it as a star, but honestly, who even cares about that? Adam Pearce is chatting with Styles, and the manager says that it's clear AJ wants to accept the match, but he needs to think it over carefully before making a decision. The phenomenal one says he needs to call his wife. And then Paul Heyman steps in to take his place. The manager says he's having a great week since Breakker is suspended, and that's just perfect. Paul Heyman keeps playing with words, and it's clear that Pearce is ready for any surprises that Vision might have in store. Backstage, Judgment Day are talking about how awesome their year is going to be, and no one is going to stop them. They all say they'll win every possible title and be on top again. Balor delivers a speech about how he's at home here. Today, that's why he isn't planning to leave the arena without a title in his hands. Jey Uso comes out among the crowd and reminds everyone that last week he and his brother challenged any team. Today he has another announcement because he and his brother are officially entering themselves into the Royal Rumble. Where was Jimmy? Why are they in the Rumble, and how much do they really want it? Questions we're unlikely to get answers to, and honestly, we don't really need them. Backstage, Adam Pearce greets the New Day, and once again they start arguing and want a shot at the tag team titles, but for some reason they don't get it. The manager schedules a match for next week where we'll find out who will be the contender for the tag team titles. Up next, we have a big tag team match that was set up last week, and I was really looking forward to it. By the way, Adam Pearce himself came to watch it ringside to make sure everything was fair. The Vision team, consisting of Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Austin Theory, faced off against Penta, Dragon Lee, and of course the legend of all legends, Rey Mysterio. I never doubted the quality of the match for a second, and it turned out to be absolutely awesome. I liked how the heels acted here, constantly pulling dirty tricks. But what I liked even more was how the faces just drove the fans wild with their actions. It was just a perfect spot fest that everyone needs to see. And thank God we have a Telegram channel where we post all the wrestling shows from around the world. And you can find it by following the link in the description. Even though the match deserves to be the main event, things are going to get even hotter there. Here, closer to the end, the heels decided to use brass knuckles, but Pierce noticed it in time, and together with the referee, they didn't let it happen. And as if someone had to take action, Mysterio hit Austin Theory with the brass knuckles, and from there, it was just a matter of finishing up, and the faces had no trouble coming out as the winners of the match. It was amusing how, at the end, the angry Paul Heyman was once again on the phone with someone. Let's see who he was texting this time. Backstage, CM Punk says that he wanted to defend the title against the best in the business, and he will keep his promise. He wakes up every day with the desire to prove to everyone that he is a true champion. And tonight, make no mistake, he's going home with the championship. During the commercial break, we're shown another New Day promo, and this time they're angry because they have to go through 3 other teams just to get a shot at the titles. Nevertheless, all these teams have already been defeated before, and it's unlikely that this will be any kind of problem for them. Once again, they trashed the city where the show is taking place, and that was the end of it. Backstage, Paul Heyman barely caught up with Adam Pearce and continued the conversation. He's got something in mind and says he needs to take a call. Judging by his face, he likes the person on the other end of the phone more. Our new women's tag team champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, are coming out to the ring. Whether they like it or not, they'll have to defend their titles at Saturday Night Main Event against Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. It just so happens that they'll have to deliver a simple truth to Judgment Day. They simply can't be beaten. Nevertheless, that's not the main news, because they want to announce that both of them will take part in the Royal Rumble. But before Io could even start speaking Japanese, they're interrupted by Perez and Morgan, who just smirk. And they also remind everyone that she actually never lost the championship. And today they have some advice. Sky shouldn't forget that Rhea always ends things her own way, by betraying her friends, and Io should be ready for that. However, she honestly doesn't care. In any case, Roxy, Liv, and Raquel Rodriguez also declare themselves participants in the Royal Rumble. There was no dialogue, however, because Raquel decided to attack the face from behind, and together with Judgment Day, they did their job and emerged victorious from the battle. Even though Rhea is used to responding somehow. So yes, for now, Judgment Day continues to keep their promises and remains a threat to anyone who stands in their way. Backstage, Bayley is angry because they lost last week, and she doesn't know what to do next. Lyra Valkyria comes in. She says that, in fact, they weren't really pinned, so everything is still ahead of them. But they got distracted by the fact that both of them will be participating in the Royal Rumble and could win, earning a trip to WrestleMania. Jivena Vance continues to battle with the Luchadores, but today he ran into the boss. Here we have El Grande Americano. It's funny that he's a heel here, but in Mexico he was a pure face. I was sure the wrestlers would put on a great show, and that's exactly what they did. And it seemed like the pace was only picking up. However, at some point the show suddenly cuts to commercials and nothing happens. All we knew was that medics were coming to Evan's aid. As soon as we came back from the break, we saw him holding his arm and the referee. The referee was forced to stop the match because he couldn't continue. For now, at this moment, as everyone understands, there is no information about what actually happened. But don't forget that we have a news Telegram channel where we post updates faster than other sources. Subscribe using the links in the description, and for now, all we can do is wish Evans a speedy recovery. Penta, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio say that today they had a tough battle, but once again they proved that they are the best luchadors, and all 3 of them announced that they will participate in the Royal Rumble. By the way, for Dragon Lee, this will be the first match of this kind in his career. At the end, they destroyed Paul Heyman's face. It's funny, of course, but seriously, how old are you guys and you're still having fun like this? Although I'm not sure I could have resisted doing the same myself. Backstage again. Vision meets with Adam Pearce, and the manager says he wants to see Braun Breaker next week because they need to sit down and talk like adults. Damn, Logan Paul was just blatantly taking pictures of Pearce with the flash on, and that really cracked me up. Anyway, AJ Styles showed up there, talked to his wife, and she told him he needs to kick Gunther's ass. Pearce says there's no turning back, so he officially schedules this match for the Royal Rumble. Somewhere around there, Asuka came up to Kairi Sane and started blaming her. She said that last week they lost the titles because of her. Kairi starts blaming herself, but promises she'll do everything she can to help Asuka win the Royal Rumble. But the Empress of Tomorrow just doesn't want to yell at poor Kairi. Well, in the meantime, we have come to a simply explosive main event. CM Punk, who defends his heavyweight title against Finn Balor, who is fighting in his home country, and today they decided to make us very happy, because Finn came out to his old solo theme song, thus getting the loudest reaction of the show. What was that day participial phrase? I almost ran out of breath on it. Honestly, I already missed Balor as a face because I always liked his runs like this. Obviously, this is just a one-time thing for today because, as I already mentioned, the show is taking place in his home country. Does Finn deserve to win the title? Hell yes. Will it ever happen again? That's a big question. Well, they're definitely not going to bury Punk before the biggest show of the year, hoping they'll put Finn Balor, who they've basically ignored for years, in a top match. Honestly, I just enjoyed watching this match because the wrestlers were facing each other in the ring for the first time and you could really tell. In the best sense of the word. They just gave it everything they had because they might not get another chance. The longer the match went on, the louder the fans got, especially during the kickouts after finishers. At some point, I even stopped editing the review and just decided to enjoy what was happening, which is extremely rare for me. It was definitely a tough night for Punk, but nevertheless, he managed to catch BALOR with a go-to-sleep and retain the heavyweight championship. After all that action, the wrestlers shook hands and hugged, and that's how the show went off the air. Honestly, I think this is the best time to turn BALOR face, because there's definitely something worthwhile that can come out of this, but we'll see which path the company takes on the road to WrestleMania. That's how this week's episode of Raw turned out. I can't stop being happy about the quality of matches we're getting on a weekly basis. At the same time, I'm also reviewing old episodes of Raw, and back then, it felt like they didn't care at all about anyone watching. But now, every episode of the Red Brand is like a pay-per-view level match. There's no other way to get viewers to watch the show on Netflix. Again, don't forget to share your thoughts about the show in the comments, and be sure to mention that this year the Royal Rumbles will only feature tag teams. Well, this was Oscar Guardian with you. Bye 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 bye.